All right, welcome one and all to the Off the Rails Sports Podcast. We got the Monday edition with the main man himself, Brian. How you doing today, buddy?
Hey, we're doing great. Got a nice warm 80-degree day here in SoCal.
Yeah, that's really rare, huh? Yeah, that's really rare. That's
Well,
like the
I
other
mean, springtime
340.
is
What's that?
springtime is finally here.
Yeah, we
Didn't
had
have to
such a
wear a
tough winter.
sweatshirt today.
We had a tough winter, didn't we, buddy?
Then it rained like 4 days.
If that. And I think one of those days was actually a sprinkler that went off at your neighbor's house and you just thought it was rain. You know? That's just all it is. God bless.
Yeah.
Look at him. Look at him. All right. So let's get up and running. I always love talking to Brother Brian. Baseball, we're almost a week and a half in, almost 2 weeks, whatever you want to call it. Give me your
The
general observation.
Dodgers, the Dodgers aren't even in first place. What the hell?
Oh, thank God. Break up the team. Let's send Mookie back to Boston. That's what I say. I personally, if I was them, I'd put Shohei at AAA. I don't think the guy's going to cut it. He had 3 strikeouts yesterday. It's time for him to get
Hey,
demoted.
yeah. I mean, if he can't hit, what are you going to do with him? He can't pitch.
Not yet. He had a
Okay.
bullpen
Okay.
session on Saturday. Oh,
Yeah.
we kept wondering, are they going to lose the series? Yeah, they did. But it was a tough series, man. They did not give up at all.
No, good series. Pretty sure on Thursday's show, I predicted the Phillies would win 2 out of 3, but hey, I don't know
Yeah, you
nothing.
did.
Could have
Look,
been luck. Could
let,
have
let's
been
get
luck.
let's get something straight. Let's get something straight right now, mister. I hate it when you make me defend the goddamn Dodgers. Okay? I'm a Red Sox fan too, and you're out there, you're grabbing that easy fucking piece of that piece of turf, right? And you're like, oh yeah, they're gonna do this. And I'm like, oh man, I gotta defend them. Like, come on, man, come on.
We can both hate on them.
Yeah, I know we can. All right, we're a week and a half in, 2 weeks, whatever you want to call it. Tell me what your biggest surprise is currently in Major League Baseball.
Biggest surprise for me is actually that the Giants are 8-1 or whatever. I
Yeah,
mean, expected them to be a little better than they were last year, but I mean, that's a tremendous start for any team.
it is.
So for them to be up there right out of the gate, I mean, that's good for them, and it makes the NL West look really, really top heavy now, with the Padres and the Dodgers.
It
So
does.
that's a great surprise. Also, though, I would say that the Reds have been playing pretty crappy. I thought they would have come out the gate a little hotter because I predicted them to win that division.
We both did.
Yeah, granted it's still early, but I thought there would have been a little bit of something coming out of the gate.
Well, let's talk about both those things. First of all, I totally agree with you about the Giants. For their first 2 series were on the road. I did not think they were going to be this good. Absolutely. You did call it. I didn't think they were going to be that good. I thought they were going to be struggling to get to 500. We'll see. The Reds, they lost 3 in a row at 1-0. Now,
Yeah,
sometimes it just falls the wrong way, right? I've watched a couple of their games. It's just one of those things where the hit's just not happening at the right time. Granted, they're in a hole. To me, the biggest surprise, I agree with you on the Giants on the positive side, is the Braves. 1 win. I mean, who saw
yeah,
that coming?
yeah, nobody.
No, well, definitely
So
not
that's
management. That's for
that's a
sure, right?
that's a that's a good one to point out as well.
Yeah,
Uh, the Braves. Another one is I hate to say it, but your Angels.
my Angels. Oh, God.
They're looking solid. They're at least winning more than they're losing, right?
Yeah, it helps when you start out playing Chicago. But yeah,
They,
okay. All right, you're right.
and,
They do. They've won a couple series. There's no doubt the
yep,
proof's in the pudding. I am going to take this minute and I'm gonna give everybody on the podcast a little backstory for me and Brian. Okay? When we're talking about spending money in baseball, Brian acts like it's coming out of his wallet. Okay. And you literally need a crowbar to get that son of a gun out. Me, I act like I'm a trust fund baby. I act like I'm a Kardashian. It ain't no big deal. Just fly the money around. The truth is somewhere in the middle. And we had this disagreement, I think, I don't know, a month ago about Vlad Jr. And Brian said, okay, I said, this guy's going to get 600 million easy. I'm going to own it. I'm going to own it. And I said, man, he's right there with Juan Soto. And Brian said, there is no way this guy is going to get even 300 million. And Brian said, the guy doesn't have any defensive skills. He's a first baseman. Look at the Freddie Freeman contract. And then, because Brian occasionally, after the CrossFit, there's a cognitive response and he has a moment of clarity. I was like, God damn it, he's right. What do you think about the big contract for Vlad? 500 million, 14 years, no deferred money.
I was surprised when I saw it. I mean, I think when we were talking about that, back in the day, and you were saying he's going to get Juan Soto money, I was saying I would be surprised. I think my number was going to top out at around
Yeah,
350
somewhere in that. Right, right. You said maybe
because
he'll get three.
and my big
Yes.
thing was, first basemen don't get the big money.
Yes.
Uh, so
I think I
I'm
just
not
said that.
surprised that I don't think he would have got that money on the free agent market from anybody else. So uh, the fact that Toronto wanted to keep him, I think they had to kind of overpay to make sure
Overpay.
they did.
Okay.
But hey, good for him. He got his money.
At some point, Toronto has to give hope to the fans. You can't, you can whiff on Otani, you can whiff on Soto, you can whiff on all these big names. At some point, if you don't re-sign, and it's kind of the argument you and I have had on the Red Sox, you have to sign, and this is an argument that goes back to John Lester. Okay, Brian said, hey, the guy has lost his stuff. Let him go. And I was like, we've got to resign him just to show hope for the franchise. I don't really know how that one played out because I think that the last guy who Lester pitched against, they sold like 35 bases because he never went to first base. But I mean, at the end of the day, you have to give the fans hope on re signing that player. And I think Toronto did that with, and you're right. I think they overpaid a little. But at the end of the day, you got to show something to him. You can't be, hey, let the guy walk out the door.
Right. They got to keep something.
Right. Right.
And it's it's the same thing. I think like we saying they probably overpaid for him considering what he would have got offered from anybody else. Uh, Same way the Red Sox did with Rafael Devers last year. If he had gone on to the free agent market, I don't think he would have got the money he got. I could be wrong, but everybody knows he's not a great third baseman defensively. I mean, 1 year in, they got a new third baseman to take a spot. He's been a great hitter, but he's also been around a long time. He's going to move to DH, and that's all he's got. So, how much you want to pay a DH? I don't know. Ask the Dodgers, I guess.
Well, I mean, the thing is, and this is, I think, where you and I fundamentally kind of disagree. I think you're looking at it from an analytical standpoint. And the problem is, it's like finding a girlfriend in high school. You just got to find one. You don't have to date them all, right? You just got to find one team. I mean, let's be honest. At the beginning of this free agent period, nobody thought Juan Soto was getting 700 million. Nobody thought that, right? You just need one guy who says, "Hey, I got some crypto cash here. Let's go," right?
Well, I think people thought Juan Soto was going to get big money like that. After Shohei's deal, even though most of his is all deferred, that's still 700 number. That was the number that now Juan Soto and his agent were looking for.
Boris. Yeah.
That's what I think. And
Right.
yeah, it was only how much above 700 is it going to end up being?
Absolutely. And talking about the Red Sox, that's a difficult conversation to have. They didn't really have a choice in terms of getting Devers because they had lost Mookie Betts for basically chump change, lint in your pocket. And then they lost Bogarts. And Red Sox Nation, we're at the point now, get this, ever since 2004, we have to expect a win. We're not sitting here saying, hey, we're going to be the housekeeper for the Yankees. We expect to go up against them, and we expect to have the players to smash them in the face.
Yep. And you said the missing out on re-signing Mookie Betts. They're still paying for that one amongst the fan base.
Yep.
Missing out on re-signing Xander, I think was a bigger deal than it's ended up being, because he would have gone down as an all-time Red Sox great. He
Well,
already had established the most games at shortstop in the history of the franchise.
oh,
He's
okay,
going to end
okay.
up with over 2,500 hits. He would have been an all-time Red Sox great, and they missed it. And then to top that off, they spent money unwisely with Chris Sale and a couple other ones, Rick Porcello. That never worked out. A couple
Well,
other
I mean,
bad signings.
we can say Carl Crawford too, but and Pablo Sandoval. Look, at least at the end of the day, I'm not asking them to get 100%. And look, it's easy for me to be in the trust fund baby to say go ahead and spend 150 million dollars, right? But at the end of the day, you've got to show the fan base at least you're trying. I think the fan base will go, okay, they took a swing, they missed, okay, fine, whatever. But when it's a homegrown player, and I think that's the only reason they signed Trevor Story is because they were trying to make up to the fan base that we lost Bogarts. I mean, and I think, yeah, I know, right? Let's just keep digging the hole deeper. But I really do believe that's why we signed Rafaela to one of those $50 million contracts, 6 years out. And that's the same reason we signed Campbell, because we don't want to go through the Mookie Betts thing. And I'm telling you right now, they are scared to hell of Roman Anthony. He hasn't played a day in the majors, but hey, good luck. They're trying to sign the cat.
Well, and just because we're talking about the Red Sox and we're Red Sox fans, I'll throw this one out there. There's two guys on the team that, like, within the last 2 years, they've signed four of these,
Yes. Right.
beginner players to longer term deals.
Right.
Let's not forget Brian Bello, one of your favorites,
Yep.
and Rafaela. And then this year
Hmm.
they did
Campbell.
the Crochet and Campbell.
Right.
But two guys that have proven themselves and I think are very worthy of getting those deals that they've left that I haven't heard anything about extending them is Duran and Wilyer Abreu.
Hmm.
And
Well,
I'm
what does
wondering
that tell
why
you?
why have
What
they
does
not
that
tried
tell
to
you?
lock those two guys up though?
What is that telling you? Come on.
I don't know.
It does. They're going to their agents. It's not like they go, hey, we only got enough time to go to these four guys, right? They're going to their
Well,
agents.
Duran ended up going into arbitration last year,
Absolutely.
which hurt him. But I mean, why not extend him? If I mean, he's good enough. He's one you would want to keep around, I would think. But hey,
Okay. Let's go back in the history. Let's go back in the history. Okay. Not your revisionist history. Let's go back to the real history. Mookie Betts. They had that problem with him every year. They kept trying to extend him, and he was going, I want market value. Now, they both differed on what that was, right? It's easy, like we say, it's easy for me to say, hey, just give him whatever he needs because of you're writing the check. But that's why he forced their hand, and 2 years in, they had to trade him because they felt they were going to get nothing if he walked out the next year, right?
yep.
You know, and I don't know. I mean, what's Willie Abreu worth? I mean, I don't know. I'm still wondering.
Well, yeah, he's not going to get some top. He ain't no $30 million player right now, but he's one they could lock up for another 7 years for probably 12 mil a year.
Okay. Let's say let's play the devil's advocate here. Let's say they sign Abreu. Okay. Let's say they sign Durant. All right. Now, what do you do? What do you do with Roman Anthony? What do you do with Marcelo, who are the two top prospects in the minor leagues? Where are they playing? Do you think? Do you think? Hold on one second. I'm interrupting you. I know. Do you think that they're thinking one of these guys is better than those two guys you're talking about?
Maybe, maybe they are. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
We'll find out, right?
Right. We'll find out when we let him go, and then all of a sudden he becomes a three-time All-Star and two-time MVP. Yeah, you're right. I don't know, but
But I mean,
I will.
even if they locked up Duran and Abreu to one of these kind of you know deals like with Crawford and Rafaela,
Mhm.
if Anthony comes up and he's the stuff that everybody's talking about and he's the real, then it's real easy to move one of those guys because even though you've locked them up, those are team friendly contracts.
Absolutely, absolutely, you're right. It is. It is. I mean, we're looking at Rafaela and Anthony plays the same position. And I wonder really what's going on there. I mean, you don't know what goes on in the internal dialogue inside a franchise, right? Do they see one guy
Right.
as being a superstar and the other guy just being good? I don't know.
And Rafaela, I mean, he's played half his games at shortstop too, so he's kind of got that utility kind of thing going too. So
Sure.
he's a good guy to still keep around.
I'm not going to argue that. I like the contract. I like the Bello contract for $50 million because even if he slots in at a number four starter, and he goes 12-8, that's still worthwhile money to me. And I know you don't think he's that guy, but I do. I think he's a third or fourth starter. I don't think
Yeah.
he's number one,
Nope.
you know? All right. What do you think of the
Right on.
Yankees?
What
Let's
do I think
hold
of the
on.
Yankees?
Yeah.
Let's see how they do today against Scooble.
Okay. So they lost the first game of the series against Mize. Then they come up against Scooble. It's going to be a rough series. Scooble is a monster. I will say I was surprised he lost last week to Seattle. Seattle is another team. I know I keep harping on it every night, but Jesus, man, why didn't they get a hitter? Why didn't they trade for somebody in the Red Sox organization? I mean, come on, man. What are you doing to that fan base? I mean,
Yeah,
really?
I did watch the Mariners and the Giants yesterday.
Yeah,
That dude that made that catch in right field, that was the catch of the year so far. Too bad he got hurt. And another thing that made me think about that is, a few years back they extended the netting on the foul lines
right.
to protect the fans.
Yeah,
On San Francisco, down that right field line, they had netting there that he crashed into in an area that doesn't have any fans. And actually, if that netting hadn't have been there, he would have fallen all the way over the fence to the ground, but he probably wouldn't have got hurt because he got hung up on the netting.
right,
It was
right.
weird. It's too bad because the guy made a great catch and ended up getting hurt on it. But Giants walked it off. That was pretty awesome.
The Giants played real well. I mean, we're seeing the NL West. It looks like the creme de la creme. Toronto's playing well. Baltimore's not playing well in our AL East. Texas is doing surprisingly well. I think that was your surprise pick to go to the World Series, right?
Uh, I don't know if I picked the World Series for this,
I
but I
did.
did pick him to win the West
Okay. All right.
for sure.
I'm gonna have to look at the
I mean,
sheet.
it's such a
I'm gonna have to
crapshoot.
hold.
I can't even remember if I made a World Series pick.
I'm sure you did, Brian. And when you're
Okay,
gonna, you know what? You're gonna tell me your World Series picks November 1st. Oh, look, I had those. Yeah, I know.
I'll dig up a made to look like old recording of me nailing
Yes, exactly. I got it exactly. All right. Anything else you want to talk about in baseball?
it. Oh, I had to. Oh, the torpedo bats. Remember the
All
big
right.
rave about the torpedo bats and the
Yep.
Yankees?
Yep.
Uh, here's something I saw just the other day. I think this morning. Francisco Lindor is in like a 0 for whatever slump, 0 for
Right.
like 5 games or whatever. He's
Hmm.
using a torpedo bat.
Oh, I call that a Devers slump. Yeah, exactly. We call that a Devers. Yeah. Okay. All right.
So actually, you just need to know how to hit.
Oh, really? When did we
Yeah,
start
it's not the
teaching the kids
bat.
how to do
It's
that?
it's not the actual bat. It's the actual ability to hit the baseball that matters. So
Well, I guess that's something we're going to have to focus on in spring training next year.
hey, and Devers is on a nice little hot streak. He got out of his strikeout slump. Thank
Yep.
God. I guess the Cardinals will do that to a player.
Yeah. They are definitely the slump busters, right? I mean, play the Cardinals, you'll come
Man,
out of your slump, right?
that team's terrible.
Oh my God, their pitching is. I mean, literally. I looked at their lineup though. They actually have some pretty good hitters, but their pitching, man, it's like beer league softball. I mean, I don't know what they're
So
doing.
it's a who's who of AAA prospects
Yeah,
and has-beens.
exactly. And I want to know who's who. All right, my man. You are excellent as always. Hey, if you can, hit that like and subscribe button. Of course, I didn't say that at the beginning because I'm a effing moron. But if you can, leave some comments. And we'll see you soon.